Every alien medic in the galaxy had walked away from that dying child. They said it was impossible, irreversible. But I'm human, and where others see the end, we see a beginning. I looked at that orphan's frail body and said, "Not today." They brought her in on a gravity stretcher, barely breathing. Small, thin limbs, bruised skin that shimmered blue under the lights, and eyes, blank, void of hope. She wasn't human. Zethari species, I learned. Rare, fragile. Her parents had died in a mining station collapse on the outer rim, leaving her the sole survivor, buried in rubble for nearly 3 days. When they found her, she was clinging to life with the force of a whisper. But by the time they reached the galactic medical station on Epsilon 6, she was declared irretrievable. The trauma was too deep, the internal damage too extensive. I watched as one by one, Faxian neurospecialists, Seraphon biohealers, even the cybernetic mechs, tapped their glowing devices and shook their heads. "She will not last another cycle," they told the ward chief. "Better to let nature finish its course," one whispered, already marking her for cryostorage. And yet, I stood there, watching. Something stirred inside me. I was there as part of the Human Xeno-Integration Foster Program, what the rest of the galaxy called symbolic empathy. We were volunteers, foster parents, meant to show humanity's willingness to connect across species. Most of the time, our wards were healthy, behavioral guidance, education, warmth, rarely anything more. They didn't expect us to intervene in medical crises. That was alien science's domain. But they didn't understand what it means to be human. See, humans are a paradox in the galaxy. We're not the strongest, not the smartest, not even the most advanced. But where other species surrender to probabilities, we challenge them with something irrational. Hope. Hope that isn't based on science. A hope that burns like madness. We call it love. And we fight for those we love, even when every calculation says give up. I looked at that child and thought of my own, lost to fever back on Earth during the lunar dust plague. I had felt powerless then. But now? Now, I could fight. I want custody, I told the medical board. They laughed. "She won't survive 2 hours. There's nothing to foster." "I'll take those hours." They reluctantly released her to my care, documenting everything. They expected failure. Back in my quarters, I used every bit of Earth-based biotech in my emergency kit. Primitive by galactic standards, but uniquely human. Herbal stimulants, a heartbeat regenerator, old-school IV fluids. I used my own blood when hers ran dry, despite species incompatibility warnings. And most importantly, I talked to her. I sang old lullabies. I told her stories of rain and earth forests. I kept her mind tethered to this reality with my voice. At 14 hours, her vitals plummeted. The Ned drones prepared for body preservation. But I whispered, "Not today." I pressed my forehead to hers. "Little star, breathe." And she did. A shallow breath. Then another. The monitor blinked green. Alien doctors flooded in, demanding tests. They couldn't explain it. Cellular repair has accelerated, neural reconnections detected. But I didn't care about the science. I only cared that her eyes blinked open, and she looked at me. She whispered her first word, "Mama?" News spread across the galactic net. Primitive human mother defies death. Some hailed me as a miracle. Others called me a dangerous anomaly. One Faxian medic even tried to sue me for malpractice. But the child, whom I named Aya, thrived. Galactic researchers took her scans. Debates raged. A new phenomenon was logged. Human emotional healing stimulus. A theory that love, emotion, and connection can alter neurological recovery across species. But to me, it wasn't a theory. It was the reality of motherhood. Aya learned fast. Earth languages, Zethari traditions. She combined the two in ways I never imagined. She began visiting other dying children across the galactic hospitals, telling them stories, holding their hands. Survival rates began climbing. Other humans volunteered in critical care units. They called it Project Not Today, named after my words. The galaxy began to reevaluate us, not as emotional outliers, but as essential. The child they left to die became the face of a new healing revolution. Now, Aya is 10. She still sleeps beside me some nights, curled against my arm, glowing slightly from the bioluminescence in her skin. I watch her and remember the moment I first saw her on that stretcher. When the galaxy gave up on her, I didn't. Because that's what it means to be human. We love, we fight, we hope, even when it's foolish. And sometimes, that foolishness is the only thing that keeps the stars burning.